Hey guys, I hope you're doing good. So today we're going to be solving one of the biggest problems with AI, which is AI doesn't sound like you. And if you don't know who I am, I own an AI automation business. I've helped more than 20 agencies use AI to scale their businesses and make millions of dollars. So today we're going to take one part of that, which helped them do that, which is making AI sound like you. Because we use AI in every single point of your business, whether it's like drafting proposals, writing emails, send in briefings and all of that. So you need to make sure that AI sounds just like you. So let's get right into it. Okay, so this is the way you're doing it right now. So you have your notes, which is like a rough idea of what you're trying to do. And then you give it to ChatGPT and tell it something like, hey, can you write a simple email? Or hey, can you do this or do that? And AI will write it, but the problem is it's not sounding like you. It's technically fine, but it's just not you. And you cannot tell AI to be more human, which is some of us do, because what is human? And humans are super different in the way they write. A copywriter will write very differently in a different set of environments compared to like another person, etc. So this is a problem that we're going to be solving. Now, your voice is something that AI cannot copy. Like you can tell it whatever prompt that you want, but it's very hard for AI to sound just like you. So every time you're gonna get the same flat voice in a different environment or different ways, but it doesn't have your blueprint. So that's the thing that is missing. So you have two options. You either write it by hand, which some of the people do. I've seen some of my clients do it, or you use AI and sound like everyone else, or it's okay, but it's like 80% there instead of being 95% there. And this is why the normal fixes that you may have tried just doesn't work, because if you tell it sound casual, it's going to drift back in a paragraph, and AI doesn't have an idea of what casual means. Also, casual is very subjective word. If you give it a giant style prompt like do this, or I sound like this, or be like this, then same thing. It doesn't know the way you talk. And if you hire a copywriter, which some of the people do in some ways, so for example, writing posts for their LinkedIn, then it's just slow, expensive, and also you need to QA them after it. And a lot of time, that copywriter won't sound like you. He may write something very good, but it's very hard for him to sound just like you. And the reason they all fail is because they try to describe the voice instead of mimicking the voice. So the way we fix this is we're gonna feed your voice, which means just like the transcript of your voice. It's not gonna be your voice essentially, and we're not gonna necessarily describe it. We're gonna give all, let's say, old posts, call recordings, emails, etc., and that will create your voice profile. And this will be reusable for every single thing that we create after it. The best way to give it, or for me, the best input that you can give it, is your call recording, because that's where you have zero filters and that's where you're talking just like I'm talking, for example, right now. So this will make it where after, let's say, we finish this, instead of AI giving us like a robot version of you, it's going to give your version that follows exactly the way it works. So it's exactly the way you talk, essentially. And the cool thing here is this is something that you can replicate not only for you, but also for your client, which is very, very cool. Like one thing I just did is one client just finished the discovery call, and he sent me that discovery call and told me to do some research and write kind of like PDF that he's going to send to that lead to close the contract. And I used, because I had all his calls, I had like his own voice, the way he writes things. So I created that in his own voice, and he managed to close that deal, which made him more than 15K at that time, which is very cool. And of course, I'm not saying it's because of what I did, he made 15K. But when you write something in your own voice, it's very different. People will be more interested because they think that you spent more time on it. And I'm going to give you everything. So doesn't need to be technical. We're going to be using Cloud Code, but you just need to clone one folder, and we're going to do it live right now. And then you paste that one prompt, it learns from you, and then you kind of have your own skill that every time you're going to write something, you just use that to rewrite what you just said. So let's get right into it. So what do you need? You need to use Cloud Code. Now, I'm not going to go into how to use Cloud Code. There is this GitHub repo here that I'm going to share with you. This is, you're going to find it in the description. And this GitHub repo has all the details. We're going to give it to Claude, and it's going to kind of like do this live, the technical setup of this live. So let's do it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm using the desktop version of Cloud Code. Usually I use the VS Code one, but just for the sake of example, I'm gonna use this. I'm just gonna give it this. I'm gonna tell it, hey, read through this. And the reason this is actually very powerful is this tool that we're gonna be using, or this technology. It's not just kind of assuming the way that you say things. It's gonna calculate the delta. For example, how many words do you use? What kind of words do you use? Like all those things is what we call, it's kind of like reducing the perplexity of your voice, which is the delta between something sounding very much like you and something that sounds very off from what you sound like. So this is the way this technology works. So it's not just like describing how you say it, but it's really creating those packages of this is exactly how Hamza says things. Okay, so Claude is asking me to access the terminal, or we're just gonna say yes, allow. I'm just gonna click always allow. Okay, so it just read through it. So what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna tell it I want to demo this for videos. So can you use it? So one thing I would say, this is gonna be using usually OpenRouter. So if you don't know how to set this up, you just go to openrouter.ai and you do, so you go to like preferences, you go to API keys. I'm not going to go there, but you go there and create your own API key. And that's what you're going to give to Claude. And that's what Claude going to use to be analyzing the voice. But yeah, make sure also you have like some credits on your account. But assuming you're already doing this, let's get right to it. I'm going to click I made up persona. But the way this works is you give it connection to, let's say, your call. So for example, I'm not going to do this right now because it's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm going to give it a connection to the tool that I use to either transcribe the call recordings, or I just download the transcript and I give it to Claude. Those transcripts, I will tell it, hey, this is how you get the writing samples essentially and what I say. And that's why it's going to be using next time I want it to tell, or like next time I want it to write anything. So after you go through the whole setup, the GitHub repo will walk you through everything and you create your own skill. For me, the skill is voice, which is this one. So the voice skill, I'm just going to give you an example. I'm going to take a random AI email and I'm going to have it go through my voice. So for example, I'll tell it, hey, use voice and rewrite this. And it's going to rewrite it in the way that I would write it. And you can have this automated where you have AI, like in the, for example, I can tell it, hey, make sure that every time we're going to write anything, you always use this skill every single time. And right now, this is what it's doing. And I have like my voice card, etc. And this is how it's going to look like, which is very cool. So for example, there is average utterance. Usually I keep sentences short. There's one idea each. There's the median. There's short, how much of the short phrases that I say. Usually it's like 33%. Long is 16%. There's signature words. So like, so, because, I think, etc. And there's also a lot of things here. Like, so, I say so a lot. So this is mimicking that, as you can see. And the cool thing is, I didn't give it a lot of data. All you need, to be honest, is you give it 200K context. So 200K, I don't know how many words is that, but just give it enough for it to have an exact idea about what you say and how you say it, etc. Okay, so I just got the output. Hi, name. I've been sitting here thinking about our conversation. I think we can actually help you here, not generic stuff. The real thing you said you couldn't figure out. So here's what I want to do. Let's just jump on a quick call. I'll walk you through how I'll fix it for you. What days is good for you this week? So this is exactly how I would sound. I wouldn't sound like I wanted to reach out and touch base regarding our recent discussion, etc., etc. I would say something like this. So yeah, and I use this for everything. I use this for posts, for content, I use this for like briefings, for calls, literally for everything. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any question, just drop it in the comments and I will see you next time. Bye bye.